Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Spill the Tea. Let's do our cheers.
Cheers. Oops, there you go. Oh my God, I love that cup.
Thank you. I got it at the Hello Kitty Cafe.
Of course you did.
Yep. You know me, obsessed.
Yeah. Not surprised.
Nope. So we're gonna do a Halloween episode because that was something that Blossom Baby was interested in.
Yes.
So she's going to start us off.
Yes, and I'm so excited because I picked something. I never knew that these two things were connected, but once I found this out, I had to do it because it reminded me of you. Like, I love it. I'm so excited.
That's cute.
Okay. So, this is going to be about fairy rings and time distortions, and it dates back to the ninth century.
Wow.
And I was just like, what? Because I've heard of fairy rings and fairies, of course, but I didn't know it had anything to do with Halloween until
Me
looking into
either.
yeah, and then I was looking up the Halloween like mythological, like old stories, all about that. And this caught my eye and I was like, what? So interesting and new, and I thought you would love it too.
Yeah, of course. I'm all about it.
Yes. So it was fairies and elves is the English and the Celtic and Scandinavian folklore. So it's the fairy rings that were thought to be created by fairies and elves dancing in circles. But there's a German and French version of it too that I thought I'd throw in here. And
Mhm.
my favorite is witches' rings. And what it is the same circular patterns that are called witches' rings. And they are believed to be sites where witches gather to dance. So it's kind of the same thing, just different. One's fairies, one's witches. So
Okay.
yeah, I just thought that was interesting that the Germans and the French chose the witches. So.
Yeah.
Um, so it says, beware of the fairies' enchantments on Halloween. Fairy rings, also known as the fairy circles, are the rings that occur of mushrooms, flowers, or even darkened grass that appears in the fields in the forest. So on Halloween night, these rings were considered especially potent. So if you stepped into a fairy ring on Halloween, because Halloween is known for the veil to be thinner, so
Yeah.
you step into it and you're gone. You get lost in fairy time. So the person at might enter the ring, hear enchanting music, or see a beautiful fairy dancing, and you get enchanted. You want to go, and you think a short period of time has passed, and you leave, and you find out like sometimes like just a few years have passed, but then some people, it's known that has said that they have left the fairy ring and centuries have passed and all of their relatives are long gone.
Oh, what the
So
hell?
yeah, I'm getting goosebumps. I love it. Like I would never want to go in one, but I love
That's
this
so
story.
scary. Like, what if you were one of those people who went into one and then you eventually get out and it's just decades have passed? Like,
I know
like
at that point, it's like go back in the ring and just spend the rest of your life there.
basically, you know how there's a lot of conspiracies over time travelers? Is that how we get time travelers?
Oh my gosh, what if it's just people that stepped into fairy rings on Halloween night without even realizing it, maybe. Who knows? Maybe you weren't
Oh,
enchanted, you just
wow.
stepped on one.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so let me see what else I found. Let me read through this real quick. So I already brought over what happened. So the concept of time working differently in fairy realms is a recurring theme in the Celtic mythology. So that's kind of like more of their beliefs, and a lot of them have warned their kids about this and like passed it on through generations, and it lasted actually a pretty long time. And I think I found one. I want to double check, but I think I found like I did like just a portion of the story so I could read it to
Mhm.
you guys. So It talks about, oh, how people protected themselves. I did write this down. So it says a way to avoid falling victim to the fairy time slip is to never enter it willingly, which is kind of scary. Does that mean that you can unwillingly enter it? Like,
Maybe, but if it's unwilling, does it still have effect on you?
I don't know.
Hmm.
So you can carry protective charms like iron, salt, or a piece of bread to break the fairy's enchantment. And if someone was suspected of being taken by the fairies, your family can even leave out offerings in hopes that the fairies will bring you back. Um,
That's interesting because, I mean, you know how they say basically to be careful with when wanting to interact or communicate with fairies because a lot of people want to leave offerings and do sweet, nice things to fairies, but like a lot of other people believe that that's opening up to where the fairies can mess with you, not necessarily like take you to their world like this, but just to
yeah,
where they kind of like steal your belongings and misplace things and do other stuff.
I heard
So
that like, once you kind of offer them, it's kind of like expected after
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That would
Hmm.
be me. I would up and be like, you know what? You're pretty cool. Here, have this. And then later on, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm broke. I don't have anything else to offer you. And I can't even bake
Uh-huh.
bread. I'm not that white. So, but yeah, I really thought that was interesting just because I really wanted to share that story. I wish I could find more on it. But it's kind of just like, I mean, it's kind of plain and simple actually
No,
explaining.
I love that. I love
Um,
mystical stuff. I love fairies. Um, I was thinking, you know how making kind of like fairy houses or making like a tree stump into like a cute little fairy decoration thing. I think that also is unknowingly inviting them to kind of enter your life and do things to you.
plot twist, you accidentally build a fairy ring around your house.
Oh my God, that made me think of the Spiderwick Chronicles. Have you seen that movie?
Oh no.
I That's one of my favorite childhood movies. Nothing to do with fairies, but it has a lot to do with other worldly creatures. And basically, they have to build a salt ring around their house to prevent these creatures from entering.
I'm gonna have to watch that now. I have kids.
Yeah,
We'll just say it's for them.
yeah, watch it with them. No, it's a really good fun movie. It's great.
No,
I might
definitely.
have to rewatch it.
So I couldn't find more on it, but what I thought was interesting, I kind of just the witches part, I kind of wanted to throw that in there just because that was like the German and the French version of the
Yeah.
fairies, so it's kind of the same thing. But what was interesting about that one is instead of it being kind of like a time warp to where you get lost in time, to me it was actually kind of scarier, but it's German, so they're kind of a little scary. But when you
Yeah.
witch's ring, you dance until you die.
I feel like I've heard of that before. That
Really?
is
Oh,
scary.
yeah. Can you imagine that? That seems very painful. That a very painful way to die.
Yeah, you want to stop and you can't stop. I wonder like what the record is for that if it like has ever happened like, "Oh yeah, Mary danced for 54 hours before she went out."
That was a world record of being in the witch's ring.
Oh, that's
What was that?
interesting.
Yeah, I think it was more so of like, you know how like every child story and folklore kind of have like a hidden message behind it. I
Yeah.
really didn't find it, but to me and like a lot of other people were commenting on it and saying that it was kind of like a story to kind of teach kids to respect the unknown on Halloween. You know, like respect the
Mhm.
dead and the unknown and the spirits because they're there and you never know. You just have to pay your respects whether you believe it or not, because you never know what's going to happen to you. You could end up in
Yeah.
a ring.
You don't want to accidentally piss somebody off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
What's your story?
Is about Stingy Jack.
Oh, I
I don't
haven't
know if
heard this. Okay.
I had never heard of it either. It's Celtic folklore.
Okay.
Um, so the reason that we carve pumpkins is because of Irish immigrants, which I didn't
Ooh,
realize that that's where that
I
came
love
from.
that. I'm like super Irish.
Yeah. Yeah. So it says that the original jack-o'-lantern wasn't a pumpkin. It was actually, well, because pumpkins didn't exist in Ireland during ancient times. So they
Okay.
carved, yeah, they carved turnips on Hallows Eve and they placed ember in them to ward off evil spirits.
Okay, I think I've
So,
heard that part,
yeah,
but that's
that part I was like, that's kind of seems semi-familiar.
yeah,
So
yeah.
now we're going into Stingy Jack. So Stingy Jack was a miserable old drunk. He took pleasure in playing tricks on people, including the devil.
This is such an Irish story. He's a drunk. I love it.
I know. So one night at the bar, the devil had offered to buy Jack a drink in exchange for his soul. The devil turned into a coin to buy the drinks, and Jack decided to steal the coin. He placed it in his pocket where he had a cross, so the devil was unable to change back. So then Stingy Jack freed the devil only after the devil agreed to wait before taking Jack's soul. And then years later, Jack ran into the devil at an apple tree. The devil wanted his soul right there. Stingy Jack bought time and asked the devil to climb the tree and pick him an apple. Once the devil was in the tree, Stingy Jack, this guy, just all the that he's doing. So once the devil was in the tree, Stingy Jack then placed crosses all around it. He trapped the devil once more and made him promise to not take his soul when he died. Years later, Jack ended up dying and he goes to the gates of heaven. St. Peter said Jack was mean, cruel, and led a miserable, worthless life on earth, and so Stingy Jack was not allowed to enter heaven.
Saint
So then,
Peter. You cannot say that in heaven.
so then Stingy Jack went down to hell. The devil kept his promise and wouldn't take Jack's soul. So Jack had nowhere to go except wander forever in the netherworld between heaven and hell.
That's so
And so
fucked.
I know. And so Jack ended up asking the devil how he could leave because he didn't have any light to see. So the devil tossed him an ember from the flames of hell, and Jack happened to have a turnip on him because that was his favorite food, and he always made sure to carry one on him. So
Okay.
he then hollowed out the turnip and placed the ember the devil gave him inside of the turnip. From that day, Stingy Jack roamed the earth without a resting place, with only his dim turnip guiding his way. The Irish called the ghost of Stingy Jack Jack of the Lantern, later abbreviated to Jack o' Lantern. So on Hallows Eve, the Irish hollowed out turnips, rutabagas, gourds, potatoes, and beets. They placed a light in them to ward off evil spirits and keep Stingy Jack away. And then as Irish immigrated um, to the States and everything, where pumpkins existed, they realized that pumpkins were just so much easier to carve into. So they then started to only use pumpkins and they stopped using turnips and all the other vegetable options.
As a third generation Irish like I'm the third generation in America from Ireland. Um, why the am I not doing this? I'm gonna buy some turnips tomorrow and we're gonna put an ember in it and Stingy Jack is gonna stay the away. Why is it giving headless horseman? That's kind of like the vibe I was kind of getting
And
from it,
kind of, yeah, right?
which
And
is
I
so
was going
funny.
to look. Huh?
Sorry, that's my favorite Halloween movie too. So I'm just saying, like, I love
I
the
don't think
Headless
I've ever
Horseman.
seen the movie actually, but reading that, I was getting Headless Horseman vibes too because of the pumpkin, obviously. And I was going to do a deeper dive into that, but then I was just kind of so engulfed into Stingy Jack that I was like, that's going to be my story.
Yeah, so I want to talk, let's break that down. Okay, Stingy Jack was an alcoholic. So how
Yes.
we call him stingy because yes, he took the coin. I wouldn't want to give away my soul either. But at the same time,
Mm-mm.
how much of an alcoholic was he? He didn't buy a drink with that coin. Instead, he kept it. I feel like wouldn't it be stingy of him to use the coin for alcohol? Because then you just sold your soul for alcohol. And that would give into him being stingy and an alcoholic. I think he was in recovery.
Yeah, I do. In recovery. I do kind of wonder where he got the stingy label. Just because, I mean, obviously, it mentioned in several of the articles I was researching that he loved to play tricks on people, and it sounded like he was pretty mean to people. So I feel like that would just get a different type of nickname. The stingy part, I'm only thinking maybe stingy because he really didn't want to give up his soul.
Yeah, but I
But how is
mean,
that big
who
stingy?
does? I
Yeah,
mean, oh,
exactly.
we're gonna carve at least one turnip in this house a year.
You got
Okay.
to now. It's a part of your heritage.
I will. Yeah, I'm gonna tell my kids the story of Stingy Jack, and maybe they'll just be cute little. Right before Christmas, it couldn't work out even better. The Irish knew what they were doing.
Mhm.
They're probably drunk when they were telling their kids this story.
Probably.
Another thing that I thought, like, there were two things that I thought were pretty cool, and it was the Celtic traditions for Halloween, love and fortune rituals. So one
Mhm.
is the apple magic. So apples were sacred to Celtic traditions. It tied to immortality and other worlds, and that's why they appear in so many love rituals. So there were two different ways that you can do a love ritual on Halloween with apples. One was apple peeling. So a girl peels an apple in one continuous strip and toss it over your left shoulder. When you wake up the next morning, um, it will turn into the letter of who you're supposed to be in love with, like the first letter of their name, which
Oh, that's fun.
yeah, I just thought it would be fun to do. And then another one was
Yeah.
bobbing for apples. So the which is like a game that we've always seen around. So this must be like where the game originated from. But the first person to bite into an apple floating in the water was going to be the next person to get married.
That's interesting. I wanted to ask you, have you actually ever been to a Halloween event, Halloween party that had bobbing for apples present? Or have you
Yeah,
only ever seen it in movies and TV shows?
I've been to one party.
Me too. Mine was when I was a kid. It was very like a wow moment because up until that point, I thought it was just you only see that in movies and TV shows, you know?
Yeah, so did you try?
My dad made me do it.
Okay, I remember trying so hard to bite an apple in water. It was impossible. It pissed me off because in the movies they just put their head in there and they come up and there's an apple. No,
Yeah.
you will waterboard yourself before you get an apple because I never got an apple.
No, exactly. Because I remember when I was doing it and then when I was done, I was soaked in the front of me just from doing that.
It's a terrifying thing. It should not. I do a Halloween party
No,
every
it
year
is.
for my adult friends, and now I think I need to start adding that to the tradition.
You should. That could be because I think Halloween traditions are so fun because everybody has a different type of Halloween tradition. One of my traditions growing up was every single year for Halloween, my mom would take me to one of her good friends' houses and we'd make caramel apples. So I thought everybody did that. So I remember when I asked the question,
No.
nobody responded saying that that's what they did. So I'm like, so does no one else make caramel apples for Halloween? Was that like, am I the only one?
My tradition was my mom was having a Halloween party. Her and her friends would get up. I didn't want to be there. So I'd call my friends and then I went trick or treating up to my senior year. Is that
Yeah,
weird? I love trick or
I
treat.
don't think so.
I loved it. Like, I don't care if we were going to a party, we're hitting some houses before we go to a party. I'm trick or treating. It's Halloween. You're not
Yeah,
taking
I don't think
trouble.
there's anything wrong with that because I think kids should be kids for as long as they can. But this was a fun episode. I think we should do another episode in the future where we just talk about folklore and just all the crazy stories that are out there. I think that would be a fun episode to do.
No, it would be. I love that because there's a lot of tea to be spilt about like centuries ago. Those people were messy as
Yeah, I agree. Um, well, this was fun. I hope you had fun. And I think like whoever is watching this, because it's gonna be posted on Halloween, let us know in the comments what your favorite Halloween tradition is, and
yeah.
if you have any crazy spooky stories that you want to share with us, because I want to hear them.
Yeah, you have a tradition. I might just pick it up. I'm out here stealing
Yeah.
traditions this year, making them my
No,
own.
seriously. And just remember, guys, please like, subscribe, comment, and share because we put so much love and effort into these episodes. We want to keep giving you our what's the word I'm looking for? Our
Our
all,
opinion.
our best.
We love engagement. We want subscribers because we work really hard and we just want to put more stories out there for you guys to enjoy. Because this is so fun.
Definitely. It is so fun. Well, thank you guys for tuning in on our Halloween episode. Whatever you're doing today or tonight, just be safe and be careful because lots of crazy people are probably driving, so don't get hit.
Yes, and happy Halloween. Mwah.
Yeah, happy Halloween. Bye.
Bye.